There's a multi-billion-dollar industry built around the idea that if you just think positively enough, your life will change. And it has produced positivity. A lot of people who are positive about how stuck they are. Now, I'm not here to bad talk self-help. I like self-help. It helps open people up to new ideas. But today, we're going to talk about why most of it just simply doesn't work. And more importantly, what the science says actually does work, and what I have personally proven to work with myself and my clients over the past 10 years. So stick around because the answer is actually kind of weird, and you're going to want to know about it. So let's start with affirmations. You know the drill. You stand in front of a mirror, you look yourself dead in the eye, and you start repeating, I am confident, I am successful. And then later on, you get in your car and cut someone off in traffic because you're late to an appointment. Here's the thing, there's actual research on this. In 2009, a study in the journal Psychological Science by Joanne Wood and her colleagues found that with people with low self-esteem, positive statements actually make them feel worse. Not even the same, but worse. Why is this? Because telling yourself something that totally contradicts your internal belief system, your brain will instantly reject. Your brain doesn't go, oh yeah, great point, you are confident. It says, hey, nice try, but I know you're lying to me right now. And this is where things get really interesting, because the same researchers found there's a very specific type of self-talk that actually does work. But we'll get into that in just a second. First, let me explain why motivation has the same exact problem. Okay, quick question. Have you ever been fired up about a motivational video? Like seriously pumped up, your chest tight, you're all amped up, the music's swelling, you're ready to take on the world, and then 5 minutes later, you didn't do anything with that. Yeah, so that's not a you problem, that's neuroscience. Here's what's actually happening when you watch a motivational video. The moment you get pumped up, you get a quick dopamine spike, and your brain registers that as progress even though you haven't done anything. And researchers call this a vicarious reward. So basically, your brain is so impressed by the idea that you accomplished something, it rewards you for it in advance. And once you've been rewarded, the urgency goes away. Can you see why this could be a pretty big problem for people? Psychologist Gabrielle Oettingen spent 20 years studying this. She found that people who vividly fantasized about positive outcomes, like making more money, getting that job, losing the weight, consistently underperformed compared to those who thought more realistically. Her studies showed that positive fantasies actually drained your energy. Your body physiologically relaxed as if you achieved the goal already. Now, in manifestation, this can be good because you're matching the frequency, but it doesn't motivate you into action. So this whole idea is documented in her book, Rethinking Positive Thinking. And it's backed by studies across health, career, and relationships. So if positive thinking tanks you, and motivation is basically just an advanced dopamine loan that you're never going to repay, then what actually works? Well, the answer involves something called implementation intentions. You're going to want to write this down. And I know it's a terrible name. It's almost unmotivating, but it's very important. Implementation intentions. And the research behind it is going to blow your mind. So let me put this a different way. Imagine you ask someone, will you vote in the next election? And they say yes. Now, instead of asking that, imagine you ask them, where will you vote in the next election? And what time will you leave to go vote? Same person, same intent, but a completely different answer and outcome will come out of that. Psychologist Peter Galwitzer ran this exact study, and what he found was the results jumped 25% from one question to the other. The second question is an implementation intention, where specificity is the name of the game rather than just a vague answer. An implementation intention is just a simple if-then question. Like, if it's 7 a.m. on a Monday, then I will go to the gym and work out. Not, I'll try to work out more this week. It's not exactly sexy. It's not really Instagram quote worthy, but it works. Now, remember that specific type of self-talk I mentioned earlier? The one that actually works, unlike affirmations? It's called self-distancing, or what I actually like to call ask-formations. So instead of just saying, I am confident, you say, can I handle this? You ask a very empowering question in relation to the area you're looking to level up. And why they call it self-distancing is because you can use your actual name in third person. So instead of, can I handle this? You say, can Tony handle this? You just add your name in third person to it. Ethan Cross at the University of Michigan found that this simple shift, talking to yourself in the third person through a powerful question, reduced emotional reactivity and improved performance under pressure. It's like your brain treats it like advice from a trusted friend and not a threat from a mirror. And wait, what about mindset itself? Literally, the book by Carol Dweck. This was like the GOAT of self-development, actually, is explaining the growth mindset. Surely that's solid, right? Well, yes and no. And this is where I'll push back on something something I even used to believe. Dweck's original research is totally legitimate. Like, believing your abilities can grow and make progress is certainly helpful. But when schools started to tell their students that they have a growth mindset without really changing the actual feedback structure, the effect mostly disappeared. And large replication studies, including a 2009 meta-analysis covering over 400,000 students, found that growth mindset interventions had a very small impact overall. And what this means is mindset matters, but mindset alone isn't enough. Context matters more than we realized. So here's the actual framework. Just follow these 3 things, apply them over the next 7 days, and watch what ends up happening for you. Number 1, don't affirm, ask, can I do this? Beats out, I can do this, especially when you're doubting yourself. Your brain is a goal-achieving machine, so when you say, can I do this? It tries to find ways to do it already. Whereas if you're trying to tell yourself and convince yourself that I can do it, when you don't believe that you can, your efforts are going to be fruitless. Number 2, don't visualize just the outcome, visualize the obstacle. Oetingen calls this WOOP. Wish, outcome, obstacle, plan. And here's an example of this. The fantasy version of you training for and winning a marathon is you picturing you crossing the finish line. Your arms are raised, crowds cheering, winning music playing, the whole shebang. The WHOOP version of this, though, is you picture yourself waking up on Wednesday at 6 a.m. Your alarm goes off, it's raining outside, your legs are still sore from your workout on Tuesday, and your real plan is, if I feel like skipping when I wake up, I'm just going to put my shoes next to my bed and get everything ready so I just put them on and head out the door. The obstacle version helps you make real progress, and it helps you prepare for training for the actual race in this case. And lastly, number 3, don't rely on motivation. Schedule a specific trigger. So instead of saying, I'm going to read more this year, you say, every night when I sit down on the couch after dinner, I'm going to open up my book instead of my phone for 10 minutes and read. And to make it even more successful is set your book right next to the couch. In each of these examples, it's the same goal, but a totally different outcome. One is a wish, and one is a contract that you're making with a future version of yourself who, let's be honest, is going to be tired after dinner and is going to want to scroll through Instagram, right? So what you're doing is you're helping set yourself up for success. You're essentially making the decision now so that your future self doesn't have to. And here's the craziest, funniest part of this whole thing. None of these things are hard to do. None of them cost anything either. It's just in the way you're approaching it that's going to make all the difference. The problem was never you weren't motivated enough. The problem is that motivation isn't really the tool for the job for you. You wouldn't try to screw in a nail, right? Well, this is the same idea. The self-help industry will continue selling you the feeling of change because the feeling is much easier to package than the actual doing. But you came here for the truth, and that's exactly what you're going to get. So there it is. For self-talk, stop affirming, start asking. For visualization, picture the obstacle, not just the outcome. And for action, focus on the trigger, not just the motivation. So there you have it. If you want to go deeper into implementation intentions, Goldwitzer's paper from 1999 is genuinely readable for an academic paper, which is either a compliment or a very low bar. If this was helpful for you, please be sure to like this video and consider subscribing to our channel, Mind Body Evolution. I'm actually going to be leveling up our videos over the next couple months here because I want to start to provide real life, like scientific evidence and proof that what I'm teaching you on this channel really works. And not just because it worked for me or my clients, but because it's really been proven over and over again on a mass scale. So if that sounds good, again, please like this video and consider subscribing. Love to have you as part of this community. With that, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.